So you want to get a life of abundance? One great way to do it, it is to activate your curiosity. And how do you manifest this curiosity? Well, by trying new things and by not being afraid to put yourself out there, by trying new stuff that you never been across, and by being just more open to things in general. And in this video, I'm going to give you two examples that I've personally been observing with two people that I knew in my life who were holding back in terms of trying new things, even though they had this curiosity, they have this wondering about that things. But guess what? They never did. So the first real life story that I can recount was coming from an old lady that I knew. And that old lady, she was obviously old. So she was living, from the time of the previous era. And as a result, she never really left her town. She was married to the same guy for a very long time. She had children. She basically followed the script and did everything that society tells her to do. And actually, when she came to be retired, the only thing pretty much that she was doing was watching TV. And man, that's very sad. That's very sad to still be alive, still have some energy left and some piece of health, but decided to spend it to watch TV and basically making the dream of others alive, but not yourself. Because yes, guys, that's exactly what happened. When you do watch TV, when you do scroll on your phone, you are making other dream possible, but not yours. And on top of that, you are wasting your life for real. And I remember, that this old lady was also a good cook. She was cooking well. She knew a lot of recipe and so on, And at some point we were having a chat and she told me, oh, now in France, I see more and more kebab shop because, it's true that in France, there's more and more kebab shop, even more than French fast food these days almost, which is actually quite crazy. But this story was already about 20 years ago. And she told me that when she was going in town, she kept seeing all of this kebab shop. And she was wondering about how it tastes. And she told me, oh, I've seen those kebab around and I'm kind of curious. How does it taste? I've seen the big meat that they grill. I smell the flavor from the restaurant. But I'm just wondering how it tastes. And I was just questioning, how it could be in the mouth. And I naturally replied back then try. Why don't you try? Why don't you enter into the shop, order a kebab and eat it? And she said, oh, eventually, yeah, I'll think about it. And guess what? Until then, she never tried that kebab sandwich, even though, it was in her mind, which means that the first step on her part was totally right, because she had this genuine curiousness about that sandwich, but for some reason, there's something that blocked her and she never happened to try that kebab because you know what? All throughout her life, she never tried things. She never stepped outside of her comfort zone because she believed the lie that has been already programmed for her, and she stayed at her place. And as a result, even something small like trying a new fast food, trying a new sandwich, it is something that she wasn't capable of doing it, even though she had everything available in front of her to try, right? She had time. There's a kebab shop near her. So she could literally try, right? No one's going to be affected by that, but she didn't. And I think it is really sad. It is really a waste. Now, maybe some of you might think it is actually not a waste to not try a kebab in your life, right? To not try a fast food. But the point, guys, it is about the action that you do not take, because through this kebab, that might open for her something totally new, something different, something that she didn't thought about, and that could eventually open her horizon and she can access to more in life, to more on what's available, and simply be richer in the mind. And especially again, when you do have the idea, when it's coming from you, this genuine curiosity, this wondering about something, it is really the worst thing if you have the idea, but you do not apply it, you do not take action on it. And what about you? Let me know if you had a similar story in the comment below. I want to hear your experiences as well. And the second story this time, it is coming from a barber of mine that I had back in the days, and his name, I'm pretty sure that you care about his name was Francis. And when I was going to have an haircut there, I was chatting with that guy, Francis, And one time that I was there, he told me, oh, last time I was at the supermarket and I actually came across this box into the fresh aisles, and this was sushi. And I look at it and I thought, oh, it looked kind of good. It looks kind of interesting. So then I naturally said to him, oh, yes, that's good. So did you take a box? Did you buy it? Did you try it at home? And he said, no. And I say, why? And he said, oh, I don't know. I just don't know, but I didn't do it. And you see, again, this is the same story than the grandmother that I was mentioned to you about. And it is also about food, but the object doesn't matter here. That can be pretty much about anything, but the story is the same. This guy, Francis, he had this genuine curiosity, that catch his eyes to see a box of sushi in a supermarket, even though, probably that the best place to try and eat a sushi is not the supermarket, but he saw it there. He had this curiosity on it, but he didn't try it. And this is pretty much the same story. He missed on an opportunity to grow, an opportunity to discover a new flavor, to discover something new that he was never exposed to. And for some reason, he had limitation. He had a certain block that didn't make him to grab this freaking box of sushi and trying by himself. And literally, guys, I think that this is coming from, yes, a self-limitation that a lot of people are putting into themselves, where they have this, this idea that even if they are curious about something, even they wonder about something, for some reason they can't really do it. They can't really allow to try. And again, like I said, this is such a waste, because literally, it sounds cliche, but I'm pretty sure that this quote that says everything that you truly want lies after the comfort zone limits, or something like that. If you know actually the quote properly, you can let me know in the comment below. But literally, this is where it adds. And in here, we are only talking about kebab sandwich, sushi, which is not even a big thing or a big risk. Very, very far from it. But this is pretty much the same for everything, whether it is small or big. And if you want to have access to a great life, to a life that is interesting, where there's spice, where there's discovery, where there's adventure, where there's stimulation and so on. First of all, you have to be curious. You have to wonder about shit. And you can't be the one who thinks that everything's normal, nothing's really interesting, everything is regular, because this is not the truth. And this is not the truth simply for the reason that there's so many things that do exist. I already talked about that in this channel, but to me, this is one major point on why this life is not boring, simply for the fact that there's so many things, so many concepts, ideas and mindset that does exist in this world. So how can it be boring? And once you develop and have this curiosity toward things, you need to take action, because this action that you're going to take, even though it is for something very small, such as trying sushi, that will open up for you a new door for more, and more going to lead you to more and more, which going to be at the end abundance for your life. And once you reach abundance, once you discover so many things, you're going to be rich. And once you become rich in the mind, your life is no longer boring. Your life is no longer poor and very regular, but exciting, stimulating, and so on. And what about you? Have you ever tried kebab sandwich, sushi, or anything else for what you had an interest, for what you had a curiousness on something, and then you decided to go against everything that you thought were the truth and try that goddamn things in order to expand your horizon and so therefore your life? Let me know in the comment below. And since activating curiosity and trying things, put it up into action, it is related to a mindset, to a certain mindset to have, guess what? I made a video about the mindset, what it means, and how you can activate the right mindset that you can watch somewhere here. If you like this video, give it a like. And until next time, I'll definitely catch you up soon later.